1991 spawned one of the best side-scroller beat-em-ups ever to hit the Nintendo Entertainment System. Battletoads was a game changer, and I, for one, have been waiting for this sequel for a long time. 29 years to be exact, and one question I think we all have is, did Rare screw up this franchise? Today, I want to find that out. Hello and welcome to Frostbit Gaming. I am the Frostbit Fanatic and we are about to dive into a deep look at the sequel of one of my favorite games from childhood, Battletoads. In order to figure out if Rare's done good by its fans though, I think we need to answer these three questions. Number 1, is it fun? Number 2, is it hard? And number 3, does it feel like Battletoads? Before we get into that, let's take a walk down memory lane and take a look at what made this game so freaking awesome in the first place. Side-scrolling beat-em-ups in the 8-bit era were like first-person shooter games today. There were so many, it took real effort to stand out from the crowd. Enter the Battletoads. This game came at the hype of Ninja Turtles, right? And at first glance, it seemed like they were trying to cash in on some of that hype, but from the moment you chunked that game into your system, you realize this wasn't your cowabunga shooting, pizza eating, Archie comic variety of water dweller. The Toads were brazen and badass. They wore sunglasses and they beat the crap out of everybody, and their names were Rash and Zitz and Pimple, and my nerdy high school self was like, these guys are the coolest video game characters ever. I was immediately sucked in and loving it. The game was hard from the beginning and just got worse. First it was the gargoyles and the stone orcs. Then it was the vertical shoot with the razor-beak crows and the electric fences, and who has anything but fond memories of the controller-breaking, cuss-word-inventing, rage-quit-inducing rocket bikes? I liked that level so much, I played it over and over and over. The story was fun, and you got to see all three characters, though you could only play Rash or Zitz, and they only varied by color. Pimple was left out, kind of like that puss rocket you tried to hide before date night, you know? The soundtrack was awesome, and is still one of the only games whose pause music was almost better than the theme music. Spoiler alert, this game gets a nod in the survival game Grounded. If you haven't heard about that game or are wondering what it's like, I have a video about that here. But enough with memory lane, am I right? So here we are, 29 years later, and those of us that grew up with fond memories of this game want to know one thing. Did Rare screw up this franchise? Let's start by taking a look at the fun factor. The game starts out with a cheesy and somewhat nonsensical story. Bad guys are talking about how good it is to be bad, and the Toads show up to save the day. And so this pig is sitting there saying,
being a bad guy is great. Cool hideout, fancy hoverboards.
And no one can tell me to wear a shirt. Oh no! It's the mega famous Battletoads, including Zitz, the leader, Pimple, the strong one, and Rash, the sunglasses one.
Don't forget Best Kisser!
Enough talk. It's time to... Best kisser? Why are you the best kisser?
Maybe because I practice on my hand all the time?
That just means you're the best at kissing your hand.
Come on, there's more girls outside.
Yeah.
Not convinced. But it is the tutorial part of the game, so let's keep going. The fighting seems classic, and I do like how they not only let you play all three characters, they actually make them each different. Rash is your hotshot in the glasses with average speed and decent strength hits. Zitz is speedy with moves like Jagger, while Pimple and his insane strength will just pop you one. They give each of them different animations and let you tap in a Toad, which kind of feels like you're playing Marvel vs. Capcom. This adds to the variety of possible combos and has an effect on your battle grade, which can result in more collectibles at the end of the level. So far, so good. But what's with this freaking story? The Toads come across a pink pig that reminds me of Bebop from the TMNT universe almost 30 years later, and now you try to rip off the Turtles? You fight this guy 3 times because for some strange reason in the middle of the fight he just jumps up and runs away twice. And when you do fight him the 3rd time, he splits in 2. After you finally beat him, the real story starts, and it turns out they've just been stuck in an underground bunker for 26 years having delusions of grandeur, and they get rescued only to find out that they have absolutely no fans, which destroys Rash. The other 2 adjust pretty well, and this is where the game starts to show off its variety of gameplay. You spend the next level, quote-unquote, working as the Toads in their normal jobs until a plan is hatched to find the Dark Queen from the first game and kick her ass again to reclaim your fame. Story fleshed out, we move along. The game then immediately plunges you into a taste of nostalgia with more rocket bikes. Rare does an awesome job of turning this into a 3D version of the blister-forming first game. This is followed with games of Toad Shambo, which is basically interactive paper, rock, scissors, grinding ice rails on the body of a diplomat, and on and on. All of this with the bonus of a 3-player couch co-op, and you get a resounding yes in the fun department. And that's all well and good, but that brings up our next question. Did Rare deliver on difficulty, or is this just another bubble-wrapped adventure through Candyland? The one thing this game is not short on is enemies. They start out in manageable numbers during the introduction, but once you are waist deep in the battliest battle of Toad-like proportions, the enemies come crashing in wave after wave. They do a good job of mixing it up with enemies, making it a challenge to not only stay alive, but to keep that battle rating up. And that's not all. You get more in the home version, Jim! Not only are the fights hectic with plenty of chances to ride the fail train, the other levels are challenging as well. This mission almost took my will to live. The need for quick button changes and finger dexterity quickly brought back feelings of anxiety I haven't felt in years. This game is assuredly getting a yes when it comes to difficulty as well. So this is 2 out of the 3 questions, and that ain't bad. But what about the biggest question of all? Does this game feel like Battletoads? It's been a long time since I picked up a controller and tried to take out the Dark Queen. My hair is graying, with the keen eyesight and sharp reflexes of youth beginning to wane. If I look back, memories of a simpler time come flooding back, laughing at the silliness of it all, competing with friends for top score and fewer deaths, the feeling of victory as you pass that last obstacle on the rocket bikes. Nearly 3 decades of memories lay untarnished in our minds, and now we have this new iteration that threatens to leave these memories permanently marred like the new Star Wars films did. The good news is Disney doesn't have the rights to Battletoads. I mean, what I mean to say is that Rare has really taken care to not only bring back a classic, but do it justice like Picard did for the Star Trek universe. This game has taken hold of my daughter and not only kept my memories intact, but is letting us build new ones that will hopefully last her for another 30 years. Good job, Rare. If you remake any other of your classics, let's hope you do them just as well. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of my content, hit the subscription button as well as the bell notification so you know when I put more content out. I also stream on Twitch, so come see me at twitch.tv/thefrostbitfanatic. Thanks for watching, and let's go play some games.